So that's the team, that's the system, that's the industry. What we code exactly is for our next video, so you should not miss it. No, we talked about 20 pointers with this. So wait. If I understood correctly, we have to move 36 million users from an unmaintained AWS-hosted codebase to GCP while transitioning to MongoDB without any prior knowledge. That's what you said. Yep, exactly. That's the ticket, brother. That will take absolute months. I'm saying 21 points on that one. For once, I agree. That's a big one. Yeah, you're right. Brandon. So considering the budget, Brandon. And also the change is happening at the sea level. Oh God. They just asked me if it was possible to make this a 5-pointer, so we just settled on max 1 week of work. But you guys are absolute geniuses. You will be able to do it in no time. Right? Right, guys? Steve, don't do it. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. There is obviously a big interest happening around colleges around the world right now about software engineering and computer science degrees. Until AI startups stop failing taking our money, looking at you, Devin, I mean, future-proof job, high demand, a fantastic work-life balance, and a very nice pay, depending on where you live though.
What? Do not redeem the card! Yes, I'm redeeming the card!
That's nice and all, but during college, these perks are just promises. And in between your connected toaster semester project and extra communication courses about soft skills on how to not get an harassment notice on your first day at work, you actually look fat as balls in this dress. I don't even know this guy. I always wondered what life would be like after graduation. My last video was about what software engineering teams and corporations are like, video that you should definitely watch, by the way. And when I say should, the better word would be must. And this piece of content that you are watching will try to illustrate what we actually do and program on the day-to-day job. Said otherwise, what software engineers actually code. This video is an illustration of my junior experience and not an extensive deep dive on every possible thing you can code in a set company. Before the curly brackets at the new line defenders and Vorag keyboard layout enthusiasts try to cancel me, please consider a tall glass of water, some fresh air, and talking to another living, breathing human being reachable in 3D space. Thank you. It could be a surprise for some, but as I'm sure you already know, coding is not the only thing a software engineer is supposed to do. Learning new tech, attending meetings, code reviews, setting up your shiny new rocket espresso apartamento are also part of the daily tasks. But when it comes to actually pissing some lines out, from my experience, the scripts you can write in your favorite IDE can fall in one of these 5 categories. And the 4th one will definitely surprise you. Starting with maintenance. This is your usual 1-pointer ticket when you need to update a line or 2 of code for the good functioning of a company. Change an API key, update some translations, or change your image media endpoint to prank your colleagues, and directly get called into the boss's office that found the joke so nicely delivered that he wanted to meet you in person. And no, I am not talking about experience. Maintenance is not fun, but definitely an easy ticket. A good way to get started as an intern or a rookie in a set company. For a more extensive coding session and something that is way more fun and that every dev strives for, you need feature development. That's where the money is, and usually what you think you'll do at work during college. But let me tell you, from experience, if you're not in a startup, a freelancer, or working on your own product, these are kind of rare. And when they are presented to the table, they are usually assigned to more senior engineers who can handle responsibilities and bigger pointer tickets. What does he mean by pointer? Like difficulty? I don't really get it. Like ever done it? Johnny? Fear not. These are scrum points, something you never hear about during your studies, but a system that is a big part of engineers' lives, and dare I say, part of the culture. The way they work is not that straightforward and can vary teams to teams, and could also be their own YouTube video on its own, that you should not miss, that you should never miss. Now back to the video. Feature development is exciting, but can be a multiple month-long project, subdivided into smaller tickets to get tested and approved. Developing a new feature gets exponentially difficult as the code base gets bigger because of all the side missions you encounter along the way, like needing to update a specific Atom component to account for new possible states, upgrading your hosting plan for better performances, or rebuild your database from scratch because your tables now do not look the same at all anymore. As you can imagine, these side projects introduce a lot of space for mistakes and errors that lead to the next, and maybe the biggest task category you will encounter during your career: debugging. Bugs, oh my god, bugs. That I am sure you already know. Whatever the size of a company, bugs are inevitable. From a simple, visual, tiny little cute problem to something, well, like this.
A digital outage disrupted networks in many countries.
The outage linked to an update by cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike.
The CEO of CrowdStrike.
There was a post on the CrowdStrike subreddit.
CrowdStrike, and it's bad.
Dans un logiciel qui sert à sécuriser des installations Microsoft.
Bugs will always be present in your code and there will always be something to fix. In my very humble opinion, these bugs might be one of the most satisfying things to work on, even though it might seem like an awakened nightmare at first. Reading and understanding the ticket, trying to recreate the bug and understand it, go on a deep dive scavenge hunt to know where the problem comes from, proceed to go on a Control-T for new tab rampage, trying voodoo-like coding techniques, unsuccessfully as for ChatGPT's opinion, watch 5 hours of the Primogen,
Grog, I hate you! Where's your hair, though?
commit 3 C++ war crimes, end up concluding that this job is not for you, reconsidering becoming a goose farmer until the green orgasm. Debugging tickets are the best way to get to know a codebase. You are forced around some deep backrooms of a repo you thought did not exist, and as you just understood, they can also be quite fun, something that cannot really be said for refactoring. Boring, sometimes unnecessary, brain-dead and Control-D'd induced carpal tunnel. Refactoring. Simply put, just like the 22nd time watching Just a Dash Season 1, you don't really need it. Refactoring essentially is not changing anything for the user of a set codebase, but definitely can change the lives of engineers working on that set piece of shit code. You've heard that before, but usually in a team. Tickets can be created by absolutely anyone who's part of the project, but more often than not, the product owner, or product manager, or scrum master, or whatever the flavor of corporate metal is introduced to the ticket guy, is the one creating the assigned task, aka not a tech guy at all. So you can definitely pre-shot what kind of person would create a ticket like this. Restructuring and of the API router script. Hi team, I saw our codebase that this script, wrote by our only junior co-worker that I will not mention, did not respect our conventional curly braces at the new line that I will kindly remind you reduces by 26.342% our eye research when it comes to debugging, which is not only a sign of skill issue, but pure disrespect for me and my new Vim setup. Steve. Smiley face. Dude. Fuck. Refactoring is boring, but mandatory. And if you ask me, a little bit like upgrading. Technologies, alongside Sam Sulek's average video length, evolve over time. New versions of software come out every day, and companies need to keep track of these to stay on top of the competition. But contrarily to what I thought, upgrading a library, framework, or CMS is not that straightforward of a task. Let's say you have a gigantic codebase that uses the Tronal dump API, and it's a real API. I checked it. Until now, hypothetically, accessing a particular query was done via this endpoint, but today, the servers at tronaldump.net, I promise you it's real, decided to change an insignificant character to have more naming consistencies throughout the API on version 2. Well, just because of this tiny teeny character, the endpoint you are now tapping into on the new version simply does not exist anymore, and you are what we professionally call royally f***ed. Shit. So there you go, what we actually do in code, on the job. If you are a software engineer with a different experience than mine, or have any questions about the job, please let me know in the greasy comments that I will read. And I catch you all very soon on the internet. Bye bye everyone.